What's up, party people? Welcome to the show. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti, but not just Todd Tremonti. We got the whole crew today.
Yeah, we do.
And we are talking all things residential real estate across DFW with a primary focus today on a special little spot right here in DFW called Grapevine, Texas. We'll dig into that here in a minute. Things we love, things you may know, things you might not know. Certainly, if you're in the area, hopefully you have explored Grapevine. If not, something to check out as far as hanging out or maybe living there. If you're not from the area, Grapevine is one that often gets overlooked, but really shocks people in a great way when they get to know Grapevine. So we'll do that here as we make our way through the show. Listen, anytime you're hanging out with us on the podcast, we want you to know that in the show notes is all of our critical information. It'll get you over to the website, toddtremontiteam.com, where we can introduce you to all kinds of vendors and information and areas. You can track us back to the YouTube channel where you can see tons of educational videos about parts of town, buying, selling, taxes, the finances of the area, and ways to just enjoy your home right here in DFW. That's kind of who we are and what we do. We love to help people use their God-given gifts and abilities to enjoy home.
You might say it's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, huh?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yep.
Huh?
Exactly.
That's what he did. That's what he did at the end.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's what we've got going on today. We'll dive into Grapevine here shortly. And we just always want you to know how much we appreciate the time you spend with us. We want to make sure it's valuable for you. And anytime we know somebody that does an incredible job for our clients, whether they're buying or selling or just enjoying their homes, we're going to tell you about them. And so you're going to be able to find information for people like Patrick Glaros, who's my go-to mortgage guy, has been for over 20 years.
He's my go-to mortgage guy.
We've been using him forever, all that good stuff. He and his team are incredible at anything related to mortgage, whether you're refinancing, buying an investment property, looking to lower your monthly cost, or just view that mortgage piece as part of your wealth building plan. Patrick and his team are going to be the best in the business. You can find him at patrickglaros.com, where all of his information is in the show notes. And of course, you can find all of that at toddtremontiteam.com. But when I say Grapevine, Texas, Ian,
yes,
the English wonder, the Yanni Donnie, our very own AI.
Amazing, Ian.
Animated Ian. What comes to mind when I say Grapevine, Texas?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is because we have our kids are teenagers now, but we loved going and hanging out in the big hotels out there. Great Wolf Lodge was a staple every single year for us. Gaylord Hotel for the ice exhibit. We were there this past year. Those two things obviously stand out. They have a great, and I mean great, British store over there called the British Emporium. They have a branch in Richardson as well, but the main one that's been there forever is in downtown Grapevine. And obviously, for me, being the Englishman that I am, it's a staple that I have to go and
Now,
visit.
Courtney, you may or may not know this, but Ian really prefers to think of himself as English.
Yes, sir.
Not as proud to be British.
Oh, tell me more.
I'm proud to be British, but I'm an Englishman. You know, Britain contains England, Scotland, multiple countries, and so I'm not Scottish.
But,
Okay, that makes sense.
But to be
English.
clear, this is the British Emporium.
Correct. Because
Yeah.
there's food from all
Right.
areas of Britain.
Right.
In there.
There was no need to do that. I just thought it'd be funny. Now, a lot of people
I learned something.
A lot of people from right here in the Lone Star State feel similarly.
They're Texans.
They're Texans first,
Yeah.
but still totally proud to be American.
Of course.
And to be
And I'm
both.
proud to be an American,
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
where at least I know I'm free.
I won't
and
forget.
I won't forget. You
The
know, for a
man
long
who
time, I thought it was the man who died.
Sure.
I thought it was about Jesus.
It's plural.
I
but-
was very
well,
much
Honest to God.
rooting on Team GB, Great Britain, in the Winter Olympics. And I was very proud of our small little island that we are, that we had a few different golds.
Oh, sorry. I got carried away.
Got distracted.
USA is slightly bigger than Great Britain, did you know that? Just
A wee
slightly.
bit.
Just a touch.
I'm just a mere island boy.
Not that I want to take any shots at Canada, but the population of DFW is basically the population of all of Canada. It's It's different.
I'm going to visit Canada later this year when we go to the Formula One race up there.
And on that note,
Yeah.
Grapevine, Texas.
Hello.
So the British Emporium's one of your favorite spots. And that
Yeah.
may or may not all get edited out later.
It won't. It'll stay.
What else? Courtney, when you think Grapevine, Texas, what comes to mind?
Well, for me, there's so many things to enjoy.
Okay.
Okay. So ultimately, it's the Christmas capital of Texas.
That's what they say.
And then we've got that mall out there with just all
Grapevine
these
Mills.
Grapevine Mills.
touristy things to do,
Yeah.
like Meow Wolf and
Before the east side of the Metroplex got a bunch of the big outdoor stores, like sporting goods stores and things, the Grapevine Mills Mall, like Bass
Yeah.
Pro Shop and all that, was a destination. It's still a destination, but
well, this is what I'm saying. What's it like to live out there?
Yeah.
Because for me,
Pretty
it's
great.
like you drive
pretty
and
great.
you shop and you go home.
well, okay. So that's your perspective. Ian's was
In fairness, that is generally what you do when you go places. You drive,
Most places.
you shop, and
Yeah.
then you go home.
Now, but there's a lot more than
Not
shopping
where I
there,
live.
right? So they've got the big hotels. You already talked about
Yep.
those. And the water park, there's indoor water park.
Yep.
And, Gaylord has the outdoor one. You also have the lake. You have Lake Grapevine or Grapevine Lake, depending on how you want to say that, which is a recreational boating lake. It's also got some views and scenic. It's not one of our big local recreational lakes, but to be at that location, right near the airport, right in the heart of town, basically, that's a pretty cool deal. The thing people forget often about Grapevine are the grapevines. The fact
Yeah.
that there is a vineyard culture there where people are farming grapes. They have vineyards and they're making wine. And so the wineries in the old main strip in town are fun. You can go do wine walks and wine tours, and they have cool Valentine stuff and holiday events and things. And there's great restaurants down there. There's a cool train station that's kind of a throwback into time with some passenger train rides you can do. When the kids were little, we went and did like a Thomas the Tank Engine ride. And they do some cool Christmas stuff. There's also an amazing food hall.
I was about to say, there's a really great deli in downtown Grapevine, and
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the name of it, and I'm so sorry that I am, but it's in downtown Grapevine, and you should absolutely check it out. I've been there several times.
Yeah, they got a great old food hall there too that feels like you're in like Boston or New York, where you've got all these different food individual providers, but also types of food, just a wide variety. And then you got some great restaurants on that main drag. Other things that are great in Grapevine are like the parks and recreation access there, not just the lake, but literally hiking and biking and trails. There's city sporting complexes with baseball fields and soccer fields and all those kinds of things are pretty exceptional. So when you say like you travel, you shop, and you leave, that really has been less of my family's experience. We've been out there for some sports stuff. We've been out there to eat, which maybe is a type of shopping, to hang out. Dana and I have done like a Valentine's wine tour over there. It's a pretty cool spot as a destination, but also as a great place to live. So when you think about a place to live, let's talk a little bit of details.
So it's actually fairly affordable
Yeah.
to go and move into Grapevine. This is, as of January of this past year, the average closed price on a home in Grapevine was a little over $380,000.
Yep. Now, I always say averages are liars.
Correct.
Because the math is deceiving. But the point you're making is it's an incredible place to live. Great location right by the airport. You got travel and hospitals and hotels and all the things you could need. And because of that, that number feels very approachable.
Yeah, and if I look at the last 5 years, you're gonna be somewhere in the mid to upper mid 300s
Yep.
for a home in Grapevine
For the
on,
averages.
on average.
Yep.
The median is a little higher,
Yep.
but that average price is, it's there and it's available for us to be able to look at.
Yeah. Now, Grapevine has options. Not a whole. This is where averages can feel misleading. There's not a ton of options a lot lower than that number. There's just a lot of volume around that. Most of the homes that are selling are in that mid threes to low fours range. Then there are quite a few pockets of some very nice properties out there where certainly you're getting up into the 700-800s, million plus, multiple millions. There's some acreage property there. We love homes on land, and Grapevine does offer some homes on land, some half acre, 1 acre, 2 acre. And then there's this jump, and there's not a lot of it left, but in Grapevine, there are still some farms and some vineyards and some equestrian properties out there. So it's full spectrum residential real estate. It's not known for having a tremendous amount of like condos, townhomes, apartments, but it's got all of that as well. And a lot of that is where it skews some of those numbers down to where you are seeing some very high 2, low 3s in townhomes or kind of zero lot. There's been some recent development in that property type. And there are some larger neighborhoods as well. Not so much known for like your massive master plan communities like some of the surrounding areas, but full spectrum residential options for all the amenities and benefits, relatively affordable. I say relatively in comparison to others. And then, of course, plenty of luxury and beautiful, gorgeous properties with all these location benefits as well. There's a pretty good bit of demand for Grapevine. So when you think about, especially people that do a lot of traveling, so there's like I hate to say niche community there. It's not that niche, but there's a bunch of people that live in Grapevine that travel a good bit for business because the airport is like 10 minutes away. But once you're in Grapevine, you don't feel like you live right next to the airport. You feel like you live in this really wonderful community that has kind of full spectrum of all these things we've been talking about. But you can get to Fort Worth to the west in 30 to 45 minutes. You can get almost all of Dallas to the east in 30 to 45 minutes. So it is north central. You can go straight south and be at all the Arlington professional sports. You can go up to Frisco for all the professional sports. It's a winner on location, relative value, price, amenities. You know, there's almost no negatives. Each person has their own desires. But if you're thinking about making a move within the metroplex, man, don't sleep on Grapevine. And if you're thinking about making a move to the metroplex, Grapevine's a very popular spot. The other thing we haven't mentioned is where's all the growth in the metroplex? A lot of that has to do with like corporate relocations and employment centers. Well, I think Grapevine is really poised to probably be its own magnet for some big employers, but it's so close to many of the others that it's a great option. Almost all the DFW growth on the north side is reasonably reachable from Grapevine. Everything up in Frisco, McKinney, all the way out to the northeast, all the North Fort Worth, South Lake, Carroll, Colleyville, all that stuff just to the west. And then the Frisco growth pretty much due north, slightly northeast. And then, like I said, there's plenty to the south too, but a lot of the hype gets talked about to the north. And Grapevine is within reach of all of that within under an hour. So you just have a tremendous opportunity within locally making a move. If you're out of the market, to consider it, and then not even housing, just to enjoy it recreationally. Check out Grapevine, Texas. Hey, folks, if you like what we're doing here on the podcast, if you're checking us out on YouTube on the video or on your podcast app, would you leave us a review? Would you subscribe? Would you download? Would you share this with friends? That just lets us know that what we're doing is valuable to you. And then in the comments, if you're on a platform where there are comments here, let us know what you appreciate, what you'd like to know, and we'll do our very, very best to keep educating you so that you can really, really care for yourselves, your family, and your homeownership experience. That's what we do all day, every day at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team. Our information is somewhere near this content. We'd be glad to serve you as you buy, sell, or invest in real estate anywhere in North America, especially right here in DFW.